Welcome to the Intelligent Estate, where luxury meets smart living. I'm your host, Travis Leo, and I'll be your guide into the world of cutting-edge technology, architectural elegance, and what it truly means to live in today's intelligent homes. Today's topic is golf simulators and their rise in popularity. We are fortunate to be joined by two industry experts, J.W. Anderson and James McDonald. J.W. is the president of the Integrated Home in Charlotte, North Carolina, a leading provider of golf simulators and other high-end home technology across the Southeast. James is the Chief Customer Experience Officer at Golf Zone America. Golf Zone is a leading golf simulator provider in the world with, James, how many simulators do you guys have installed across the world now?
Across the world? 67,000.
Yeah, if you're into golf simulators, that's kind of a small number. So congratulations, that's pretty awesome. So, gentlemen, welcome to the Intelligent Estate. Maybe in 30 seconds, give us a quick background of you and your company as it pertains to golf simulators in today's high-end homes. So JW, we'll start with you.
Yeah, my name is J.W. Anderson. I'm with the Integrated Home in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're a technology integrator here in the Carolinas. We do all kinds of things, one of which is install golf simulators. So we happen to be a Golf Zone dealer, and we have a pretty good amount of experience installing systems in luxury client homes.
Okay. And James, how about you?
Yeah, hi, James McDonald. You can call me Jimmy. I've known you for long enough. You can throw Jimmy out there if you want to. Golf Zone America, we were brought here to the United States in the year 2017, but founded in 2000 in Korea, where golf simulators, they weren't born in Korea, but they certainly exploded in Korea and were put on the global map. So our expansion here into the U.S. took place shortly after the company went public in Asia, and we are here growing like wildfire in the U.S. I've been here since 2018, and it's just been awesome to see.
Well, so let's start there. I mean, the number one question I get when somebody in our neck of the woods is building a high-end home, golf simulators are just exploding in popularity. It used to be all these high-end homes got home theaters, and now everybody's dedicating the space to a golf simulator. And I can't tell you how many sets of plans I see that have a golf simulator in the basement or in an outbuilding or whatever the case might be. So, guys, why is this space exploding right now?
I can take that one first. I think from my perspective, golf simulators, they're not new. They've been around since the late 80s. They've been here in the U.S. market for a long time. But the technology was not ready for the appetite of the U.S. golf consumer until pretty recently. Really, if you look at mid-20-teens, 2015, 16, 17, kind of right when we came to the United States and set up our satellite office here, that's when it started to get normalized a little bit in the United States, because the technology was ready and the golfer could get what they wanted out of the system, which was not just data, but also entertainment value.
Yeah. JW, what about you?
I think the biggest thing is realism. I think it was, up until recently, it's an arcade game that you played for fun, but you really couldn't replicate the experience of being out on a golf course and have that same experience. And I think from a technological perspective, it's come along quite fast, especially in the last 5 years or so. It's really, really come along to where you could realistically, play around the golf and feel like you're actually doing it, as opposed to just playing a version of Tiger Woods golf or like a Nintendo Wii type of game. It's a lot more realistic experience now than what it has been in the past.
JW, the clients that you're installing these simulators for, are they installing them for themselves? Are they installing them for their kids? Are they installing them for having a guy's night out? Are they professionals? Are they amateurs? Who's buying these things?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's different for each person, and it also determines which simulator that they become interested in. Obviously we have Jimmy here from Golf Zone, but there are a lot of different options, and each one of them kind of specialize in different things. And I'd say the most common is someone that wants to have one in their house that wants to become better at golf, and then also have something fun to do. Like once they're done at the course for the day, they come home at night, their friends come over, or their family or grandkids are in the house, they're there for the weekend, and it gives them something to do. That's the most common, but I mean, it's really all over the map. I mean, it's even gotten into the commercial space. Back in the day, I remember growing up, it was always a big treat for us to go to a bowling alley, and we went bowling. And so much now, there's Topgolf, there's all kinds of things, and golf is just coming to the mainstream. And I know here in Charlotte, where it's hot, it's nice to be able to go indoors and play golf. So you see that commercially as well, not just residential. But it's all over the map. I would say, for us with Golf Zone, it's centered around the realism of it, and learning to get better at golf is the primary reason. And how realistic it is. And then we have clients that do other systems that, it's like for grandkids, and like it's all over the map. It's price point, it's budget. It's it's getting really, really, really attractive to people now.
Jimmy, when you guys are working with customers and putting these in, well, I guess I'll ask the question, what kind of homes are you seeing your simulators go into today?
All of them. All of them. I mean, when I first started here in 2018, it was a lot of high net worth individuals. I would say 6,000 to 10,000 square foot homes. Now it's kind of everywhere.
Really?
I'm amazed that they're going into just a house with a 2-car garage, and we're putting one in the garage, and I've been saving up for this, and I'm ready to spend a chunk of change on it. And you drive past the house, you wouldn't think, oh yeah, this place has a golf simulator in it.
Uh-huh.
They do, man. I've got friends who put them in their offices, and they put them in their homes, and you don't have to be the uber wealthy now to do it.
Is it people that are looking for entertainment? Is it people that are looking for game improvement? Is it professionals that just want to practice when it's raining outside?
Yeah, same answer. Yeah,
all of the above.
All of the above.
So.
Yeah, and I think with Golf Zone, you get a lot of people who enjoy the data. They like the numbers. That's an important part of it, is being able to assess your game. But that's all tethered into game improvement, right? So thank God we live in the United States, where we are very seasonal. The north part of the United States and Canada, the wintertime, you cannot play golf. And then you get all the way down to the south, out in like Arizona, it's too hot to play golf in the summertime. Mm-hmm. So kind of anywhere you go, you're going to face some kind of seasonality. And that's where golf simulators come in huge, because the golfers that we're dealing with are what the NGF would categorize as your avid or core golfer. They don't want to shut it down for 2 to 4 months. I live in New York. I'm not playing golf at all from December to end of March. Depending on what the kids are up to. I mean, I played one round this year and it's the middle of June. But I can always go get on a simulator, and if I have 45 minutes, I can get a 15-minute practice session and a round of golf. So you don't need as much time, and you can get out there and quench your thirst.
So for our audience that may be designing a custom home or a specifier, or getting ready to build their dream home, the number one question that I always got from people is, how much space do I need to put in a golf simulator? So if I'm starting from scratch and I'm building my plans, and you're my builder, and I say, hey, I want to put a golf simulator, and how much space are you dedicating to that? JW, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it really does depend on the system that you implement. So, since we have Jimmy here, using Golf Zone, for example, you really want to have 14, 15 feet wide by, 10 to 11 feet tall by 20 to 25 feet deep. A lot of that for them is because of the technology that's built into the moving swing plate and the ball return, and it's a pretty complicated build out. Whereas, we also do systems that are based on launch monitors that are in a 10 foot wide by 10 foot big booth that you're hitting off a mat. So the good thing is it's really gotten to where no matter what your space size is, we can kind of find something that works within it. But in new construction, we tend to specify what's needed, and then the room is drawn and built out to that based on what the client wants. And budget has a lot to do with it as well. What a client's wanting to spend on it will determine what type of simulator goes in, and if it's launch monitor, if it, there's you can spend $10,000, $15,000 on, something simple all the way up to $85,000, $90,000 for the most complicated things, and so and the most feature laden things, and so that's normally the first discussion is like, what space do you have, budget, and then kind of work from there to determine what exactly is needed.
We're going to talk about budget in a minute here. So to kind of a good, better, best type of approach. Jimmy, as you guys look at your offerings that you have out there, how much room should a client plan for if they want to put a golf zone simulator in?
Yeah, if you're doing new construction, that's like the best case scenario because you're working with a blank canvas. And
Okay.
I always tell people, whether you go with Golf Zone or you go with somebody else, go get 11-foot high ceilings. Get a 15 to 16.
11-foot high ceilings is kind of the, hey, if you're starting from scratch and you can build it to your specifications, go there.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking build it to our specifications. I'm just thinking if you do this, you can fit anything you want.
Yeah,
Whether it's us or
your
someone
tallest
else.
friend can come over and swing a golf club in 11 feet. That's the challenge sometimes, is that it's not you necessarily, but it's your friend, right? Is there room for a right-handed and a left-handed golfer? Is there room, for your tallest friend? And so if you do something that's 11 feet tall, then you kind of encompass the whole thing, no matter what system you're doing.
Yeah, and any technology will fit. So yeah, I'm just thinking build a room that fits anything. And then you can put whatever sim you want in it, right? So I would go 11-foot high ceiling, 15 to 16 foot wide, and then depth. The sky's the limit, but if you can go 25 to 28 feet, you're going to be able to do anything you want, and you might have room for a putting green behind it.
I was going to say, you have a nice little sitting area and stuff behind there too.
It's blank canvas. Shoot for the moon.
So in these high-end homes where you start to see these go in, what are some of the other amenities or features that you're seeing go along with these? You mentioned a putting green, so is that something you're seeing? Hey, a simulator on one end and a putting green on the back of the room.
Yeah, and it depends on who the client is and what kind of budget they have for their entire project. But we're seeing smart putting greens too, like the Putt View system that has the projector and it shows you the breaks and. Those you can get with a static floor or a hydraulic floor that'll move to whatever pitch you want, so you can work on right to left, left to right, uphill, downhill. There's a lot of that. And then, if you're not going to put a golden tee machine in the corner of the room somewhere, what are you doing?
Okay. All right. So I got to make sure I got room for my putting green, my golden tee machine. I probably need a bar somewhere too, don't I? If we're playing golf, we're probably drinking a few beers along the way. So
I would say that's the most common. A cool lounge area, because only one person sitting at a time. So what does everybody else do? And sitting areas, nice sitting areas, lounge seating, like bar top rails, things like that. Tend to get incorporated into the space a lot, and putting greens, sky's the limit on that. It really just turns into an entertainment space.
That's exactly right, man. That's why I felt partnering with people like JW and in that space is just such a synergistic partnership, because the room turns into, now I want surround sound, now I want 3 TVs on the wall, and I want it all connected. And that's your bread and butter, man. That's what you guys do all day, every day, right? So you get more of the room.
When you're seeing these go into high-end homes, it's really designed around entertainment spaces. Is that the driving factor behind it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So they're going in. Are you putting most of them in basements? Are you putting them in outbuildings? The kind of accessory dwelling structures on properties, or combination of both?
I don't want to speak for Jim. We've seen them top floor, bottom floor. Special. I had a client send me an email today with the building that he bought to put on his property just for this golf simulator. So I think it's each client is different. My favorite ones have been the ones that are, full-scale golf simulator with a small putting green with a bar area, walking out onto a patio overlooking the golf course they live on, right?
I know exactly the one you're talking about right now.
and those kind of things are super cool, but that's not all of the projects, but they do tend to be centered around the idea of, hey, I want my friends to come over and do this with me, or my kids to do this with me. It's definitely a social experience for not only families but friends, and then now it's gotten to the point from a connectivity perspective that you can play other people online and participate in tournaments and things like that. And so that's when I say like the technology has moved forward very quickly in the last 5 years. And I don't know from a manufacturer perspective like what prompted that. I think for us it was COVID. The push for everybody to be in the house and be able to have those similar experiences. Golf, luckily, was a socially distanced sport, but at the same time, you're also back in your house with your family and stuff like that. And theaters were a great way of being able to do that at home, and golf simulators were too. We saw a lot of increase in business, and it felt like the technology sprung forward from about 2020 on. And I don't know the dates exactly, but I just feel like all of the offerings have gotten a lot better, and the network ability and the ability to go out and say, hey, I'm going to play someone from Korea, or I have a friend in Florida who has one of these simulators and I'm going to play them tonight. Like the ability to be able to do that has taken it to me, in my opinion, to a whole different level, because I think golf inherently is social. Like that's the reason people do it, is you're playing with other people, and so you're not just hitting balls by yourself in your basement. Like there's ways that even if no one's at your house, that you can connect with other people and do it. And I feel like that's a more recent development, and I think that's where the golf simulator companies have started to really get it right and have their thumb in the right spot. Like I think they've started to figure that out.
You guys both kind of touched upon the realism of the product. So I'm an avid golfer. If I'm going to go spend, I don't know, $10,000 or $100,000, we'll talk about budget in a little bit. I want something. Yeah, I want data. I want good data points, but I could get those out on a driving range. How realistic is the experience if I want to go play Pebble Beach or Kiowa Island in my own basement?
I could give you a great example. Golf, and this is just through the Golf Zone lens, right? So we mapped my home course this past winter, and there's a hole on my home course where it's the 11th hole. It's a par 5, long downhill par 5, and out in the distance up on a hill, there's a house that has 2 chimneys, one on the left, one on the right. It's kind of a blind tee shot, and everyone always says, where do I hit it, if they haven't seen the course? All right, you aim at the left chimney and you play fade. That's what you want to do. Sure enough, that's what's there on the simulator. If you hit it at that left chimney with a little fade, you're going to be perfect. Another cool story, we were at the PGA show 2 years ago, and there was a gentleman who was trying our system for the first time. And I forget what hole it was at PGA National, but I remember the exact words he said. If this simulator's any good, if you can turn the aim to the left, you'll see a training center. I'm there every day. So we just hit the button to rotate the camera around. There was the training center. But also in the parking lot was his red pickup truck that was there the day that we met the golf course, and he was blown away.
Wow, that's awesome.
From a graphics and an experience perspective, it's unmatched, and we're not the only ones doing that. Every golf simulator manufacturer out there is doing a better and better and better job of mapping the courses. They're getting more realistic and more true to life. The gameplay has also risen quite a bit. So where you start to lose it with golf simulation traditionally, and this is why the adoption rates were so low in the early 2000s, short game and putting. Okay. It was great golf simulation till you got to within 60 yards, and then it all fell apart. And now all of the manufacturers have kind of elevated their game. I would argue that Golf Zone is a cut above with the ability to turn gimmies off, and if you got a 6-inch putt, hit it 6 inches, That to me is a competitive advantage. But short game and putting as a whole has really elevated, and you're playing golf. We just call it indoor golf now. We don't call it golf simulation. It's a different way to approach the game, but you're still playing the game at its core.
You've talked about if you want to put these in new construction, how much room you need. Are you guys seeing these go into existing rooms in if I've got a big unfinished basement space, or is it people doing construction projects to finish them out? Are they kind of putting temporary solutions in? Is it all of the above? JW, what do you see in existing homes in a remodel scenario or something like that?
Those are always the most challenging, quite frankly, is because we're dealing with an existing space that may have faulted ceilings and stuff like that, and a lot of times that takes the most effort to try to figure out a product that's going to fit within that. they may come to us and say, hey, I want this particular simulator, and this is, I'm willing to spend the money on this, and all of this, and then we look at their room and just like, there's not a way for that to work. And so, part of the big challenge on the retrofit standpoint is just the flexibility to be able to move to a product that actually works within the space. And sometimes that's a challenge for clients because they have their heart set on a very specific thing, and it doesn't always work. And so the most, ceiling height is always a big thing, especially if you're talking about basements and stuff like that. But I feel like clients, because they know whether or not they can swing a club in their basement, like, are aware of the height requirements. I think sometimes where clients get really surprised is depth. Is they think, oh, I've got a wide enough room, I've got 15 feet and all that, but they only have 12 or 13 feet going the other way. Depth always tends to get us because you also want an area to be able to stand around when someone's not hitting, and so we find a lot of times that depth can be a challenge. But we usually can find a product that works in any type of space. It just may not be the biggest, most technologically advanced version of that simulator, and so that's new construction, of course, is great because it is a clean slate. I'd say a majority of our work is probably on the retrofit side, and it's just always a challenge to kind of figure out something that works within the systems and just having the flexibility to go to the right thing.
But in a perfect world, if you're starting from scratch or you're building a new home or doing a remodel, get an expert involved as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would save you a lot of time and money. We've had a lot of situations to where architects have drawn a room based on looking at something on a website or whatever it may be, and not actually talking to whether you're talking to someone like us initially that has experience across multiple systems and have seen a lot of different things, or even an individual manufacturer, whether it's Golf Zone or the others, like having a conversation about those rooms. I happen to think, and this is just my own personal opinion, and it's a little bit biased, that calling an integrator or somebody that has experience implementing them is the better first call, because they're more likely to have seen a lot of different variations from different companies and different rooms and different height, like have seen more challenges. Whereas if I pick up a phone and like and call Golf Zone, for example, whoever picks up that phone may only know the information based on, oh, you want the 2Vision NX, this is exactly what you need. And then when you find out that doesn't work, like that architect or whoever the stakeholder is, like, pivots to something different, when maybe someone like the installers would know, well, yeah, that is technically the right footprint, but we've done several that aren't that footprint, and we can make it work. And so, selfishly, I think the first call is better to the dealer or the integrator. I don't know if Jimmy would agree with that or not, but I think it gives you the highest likelihood of having like flexibility in figuring out what would work best for the client.
Yeah, I think it's whoever's the expert, right? And JW integrators are certainly the expert in this category. Golf Zone's going to be the expert in Golf Zone. TrackMan's going to be the expert in TrackMan. We can kind of back our way into what a TrackMan would probably do, but I don't know exactly what they would do. I know what we would do. I just think if a customer calls an expert I've said it a million times. To a customer, I've said this. You've never done a golf simulator. We've done 50,000 of them. Just let us vet this with you. And JW, you probably say your version of the same thing is,
yep.
You've never done this. We've done it a bunch of times. Trust me. I know that's what the spec sheet says. We've got some room. So let's make it work.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, Jimmy. So obviously you have JW in Charlotte. Do you have a network of dealers across the United States that are experts in these types of systems that are going into high-end custom homes?
Yeah, it's the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Yeah, we cover all of North America. We've got, when I started with this company in 2018, we had two. We had one distributor in Canada, one distributor in Mexico. Now we've got close to 40 integration partners across the United States who are doing this at a very high level.
So it's pretty easy to find an expert of somebody who has experience not only with Golf Zone, but to JW's point, that would have experience with other platforms as well, that can get engaged early in the process, help you spec out the space, design the system, everything like that.
Yes, it is. Whether it's going to our website or even just throwing local Google searches out there, I mean, JW's, the integrated home should pop right up. If you're in the greater Charlotte area and you're looking for a golf simulator, I'm sure the integrated home is going to be one of the top hits.
Let's talk about budget a little bit more here. So one of the things we like to do on the Intelligent Estate is kind of break everything down to a good, better, best. So I want to put a golf simulator in. I'm building a new house. Give me what the good option is. Give me what the better option is. And give me what the best option is. So JW, I'll start with you.
Well, I think the good option is going to be, from any manufacturer, is going to be kind of I would say, like, whether it's a TrackMan or a SkyTrek or a GolfZone has the Wave, one of the units that is like portable that you can take and out to the golf course, use it as a flight monitor, a swing monitor, and then bring it back in and then connect it to a computer or an app and be able to display that on a screen. That's probably the most common thing at the lower price points to be able to do. A lot of times, if you're looking to save money, you're doing a pop-up enclosure, vinyl enclosure, or something like that, something that you can get. There's several great places that you can get those with a mat. You grab your ball, put it back on the tee, put it back on the mat, you hit, kind of thing. That's probably what I would say would be the entry level.
And what's my entry level price point?
I would say, realistically, with enclosure and everything, I'd say $10,000 to $20,000.
Okay.
You can probably get the flight monitor system, or you could probably get that for $5,000, and then you still have to get the other components to kind of make the room work. So that's rough ideas what I would say there, and then I'll skip the middle ground and kind of go to the top end for a second. And at the top end, you're getting the most realistic representation of golf, right? So you're probably spending $80,000 on the golf simulator itself, and then you're building out that space to be whatever you want it to be. And I've seen clients build it out for $10,000, and I've seen clients spend $30,000 putting in bars and putting greens, and at that point, kind of sky's the limit. And that is full scale auto tee system. You hit the ball, it rolls back under the platform that you've built. It pops the ball up for you. You don't have to fetch them. When you hit the ball on the middle of the fairway, swing plate moves, puts you in position. If the ball's below your feet on the course at that given spot, it's below your feet on the simulator. So it's the most realistic representation of golf. And then in the middle, you've got $40,000 to $60,000, which basically will lose some of those features. But inherently, the software and the play is very similar. And those tend to be the most flexible in terms of what room you can put them in. And so at the high end, you're building a space for that type of simulator. And then when you get in the middle, there's a ton of flexibility. And then for the person that just wants to put something simple in a garage or something like that, there are entry-level solutions that from all manufacturers that do a really good job of that.
So 10 to 20,000, kind of good. 40 to 50,000, better, and then 100,000 plus to if I want to go crazy and build out the ultimate man cave experience.
Yeah. That historically for us, that's kind of where the price points have fallen.
Jimmy, you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I think you nailed it. I think you nailed the numbers. You nailed the logic. The only thing I would add is I think there's a fourth category of meh. It's not good, better, or best. It's just kind of meh. It gives you the opportunity to hit balls inside and see some data and maybe play a little bit of a simulated round of golf. And you could probably get launch monitors in that space that are between $300 and $800.
Okay.
It's not going to give you this incredible experience. You still have to get an enclosure, so all in, you could probably do it for less than $3 or $4,000. That's super entry level though, and the experience is not going to be what you're looking for if you're an avid golfer who's really got a thirst for this.
Yeah. So, and especially if I'm building out a new structure or doing a remodel, that doesn't sound like the type of thing that I would want to do in a high-end home.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the category that has the most attention right now in the United States is that good category. It's that $10,000 to $20,000 solution that is just pumping volume constantly.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why? I think so.
Why?
Yeah.
You agree, JW?
I do. And I would say that the technology and the offerings for the manufacturers are getting better, but I think 20 to 30 is a sweet spot. I would say every 10 clients that call the integrated home for a golf simulator, 8 of them would live in that 20 to 30, 40-ish range if there were great solutions for that. And the challenge is from all of the different manufacturers is they've got the 50, 60 plus kind of nailed. And but under that, there's still some work to do. I think this is just my personal opinion. There's still some work to do to create like great solutions in that space, and I think several of the manufacturers, they have the lower end, like the 5 to 15, doing pretty well. But I think there are clients that they want it to be a little bit nicer. They don't necessarily want a vinyl pop-up booth. They want a better version of that type of thing. They want a little bit more data, a little bit more faster experience. One of the things that we've seen is clients now are starting to become, because they're aware the technology exists, that everything is instantaneous, that their patience for like hitting the ball and there being a delay and then it shows on screen and stuff like that are getting to be less. And so we're starting to see, fortunately Golf Zone does that really well. Other manufacturers not as much, but that's getting better. I think everybody's realizing that people want that kind of I want to hit the ball and feel like I just hit a golf shot. And I feel like in that middle ground is where the biggest opportunity lies, because I think the best manufacturers traditionally haven't addressed that market well. There are places there are things there, but I don't think that they meet the level of experience that people want. And so they end up, I guess what I'm trying to say is they end up spending the 10 to 20 when they would have spent 20 to 30 if something better existed that better met their needs. But then when they look at the options, they just default back because they don't have the budget to spend 60 plus, 50, 60 plus. And so I think there's this kind of no man's land, for lack of a better term, where I think golf simulator companies as a whole could really address that space and benefit everybody.
As we start to wrap up here, what's the best simulator install you've done, JW? What's the coolest one you've done?
I think you talked about it earlier.
Yeah, there's a couple. We did one here in Charlotte, overlooking Quail Hollow, and as a matter of fact, right in around the same time, Golf Zone mapped Quail Hollow for us, and we put a simulator at Quail Hollow and in this particular client's home. And just the setup of it, just full scale golf simulator with putting green, bar area. Architect on the project's just spectacular. He's an avid golfer as well, and just designed an incredible space. You walk out on a balcony and you overlook Quail Hollow. So for me, being here in Charlotte, that was really exciting. We recently did one down in Miami that just the way the architect incorporated it into a plan was just super awesome. And we worked with a local company. We often help other integrators that maybe don't have as much experience doing the simulators. We kind of give them a hand, and so a friend of mine reached out and asked for assistance. And the way they incorporated that with sliding glass doors off of a bar area protected by a curtain with all the video game arcade stuff, it's just spectacular architecturally. So I think those two jumped to the forefront for me.
You want to give a shout out to either one of those two architects?
Yeah, so here in Charlotte, Harry Schrader of Schrader Design, he's fantastic, and they did a great job. Arcadia Homes was the builder on it. It was up on a second story, so it was a challenge to get that implemented, and it turned out to be spectacular.
Jimmy, what's the coolest Golf Zone installation you've seen in a residential space?
Well, it's kind of unique that I'm on this call with JW, and I've actually been in both of those homes that you just referenced. And they're
Have you?
Killer. Just absolutely killer. I think the coolest experience I had was, and this just shows you the type of customer who's buying the high-end stuff, right? I had a guy call me to come look at his house and see if we could fit one in. He was fully decided. Golf Zone is what I'm getting. I just need you to come and let me know where to put it. So I got to his house, we took a look around and said, sorry man, I just don't think it's going to fit unless you do X, Y, and Z. So he called me a week later and he goes, all right, I bought the land up the street. There was a bunch of acreage for sale. I bought it. I'm going to build on it. Just tell me what I need to build. So I gave him the specs, told him what he needed to build. He called me again 2 weeks later and he goes, all right, I sold that plot of land. My neighbor just put his house up. I bought that. I need you to come over and tell me if it'll fit. So I went to that house and I said, yeah, it'll fit. We'll put it right there. And he goes, perfect. And that was it. So the guy was buying and trading to get a Golf Zone simulator.
And I assume he's got one now and he's thrilled with it. So.
Yes, he is. It ended up really cool. There were some unique things that we had to do to make it all work, but it ended up coming out perfect.
Right. Well, guys, any last thoughts or recommendations for people that are, designing or building a high-end home if they want to put a golf simulator in? Jimmy, I'll start with you.
Yeah, call an expert. If you're thinking about doing it, call an expert. It's never too early to engage. I mean, I'm talking at the architectural level. If you're in architecture and design, it's the best time to do it. Don't just do it off of something you read online about how big the room is supposed to be. If you go a little bit bigger, you can fit anything, and then the world is yours. You can pick whatever you want to do, and you can make it as cool as you can make it. So engage with an expert as early as possible, whether that's an integrator such as JW or a manufacturer such as myself. Just call an expert and have that conversation. They'll give you the best guidance you could possibly get.
JW, how about you?
Well, I mean, I would have said the same thing Jimmy said. I would say go for it. Like the golf simulator installs that we've done in homes, in whether it be entertainment areas, outbuildings, and stuff like that, we've gotten a lot of feedback from clients about how much those get used, and used by their family, used by them or their buddies, like things like that. And I think it's a good use of space and money if you have the ability to do it and you are passionate about like playing and this. I keep going back to the social aspect of it. We get a lot of client satisfaction out of it, and if it's planned right, it incorporates well into other things. And on the audio video side, we end up setting up like televisions and screens, like you can be watching the Masters while you're playing, and like you could. It's so much fun, and theaters. A lot of theaters have gone to kind of more of the multi-purpose space, so we'll have a nice, theater space that is, butted up right against to where golf simulator is. A lot of times it's not great to put those two together in the exact same spot, but as complements to each other, it works really well. And I can't think of a project where we've done that the client has come back and said, I don't know that I ever used that. It's used. We get that feedback that's used a lot more often than, let's say, a dedicated theater or something like that. And so I think I don't run into very many situations where a client is telling me that they don't feel like that was a good use of money.
Yeah, and I would echo that. I don't know a friend or a neighbor who has a golf simulator who doesn't rave about how often they use it, how much they love having it, how much better their games have gotten by having it in there. So it does seem like it drives a high level of customer satisfaction when it's going into a new home.
Well, especially if you're a busy professional. I mean, like for us, we have our demo simulator here in the facility, and I have a 4-year-old. I don't have much time to get out on a golf course. We had talked previously about I played in a scramble yesterday. Well, I hadn't picked up a golf club on a real course in quite a while, but I went to the scramble feeling pretty comfortable because I can go and play around here in 40 minutes and at any of the 200 and something courses that I have available to me around the world, right? And so it gives you the ability to kind of do that, and then when you do show up to that tee time and you get to play once a month or something, you actually have the confidence to go and play, and you're not spending all day looking. I spend all day looking in the woods no matter what I do, but in general, like you feel more comfortable, and it's a way to actually stay tied to the game when your life is really busy and you're not necessarily able to get out and spend 4 hours on a golf course on a Saturday or a Friday afternoon or whenever it may be.
Last question I'll ask: if I want to play 18 holes on a Golf Zone simulator, how long does it take me, Jimmy?
The general rule of thumb that every manufacturer will give you is 1 hour per person.
Okay.
That's Golf Zone. That's everywhere. We'll give you that. once you know the system a little bit and you know how to maneuver and work your way through a golf course, it's double that. I mean, or half that, rather. I could play an 18-hole round of golf in about 30 to 35 minutes if I'm by myself, and I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have one at home, unfortunately, but I've got a Golf Zone Social about 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
I'll go play 18 holes in 35
Jimmy
minutes.
is really good at golf. So add 10 minutes for the rest of us and call it 45 because we hit more shots. We get a little bit more money, like more shots for the money kind of thing for the time. And so I'd say 45 minutes for someone that is not as good as the two of you. But
so
the two of you, 30 minutes is no problem.
So if you're squeezed for time, a golf simulator can be a great way to get a full round of golf and get some practice without dedicating 5 hours away from family or chores or whatever the other commitments may be. So,
and the other crazy part is family wants to partake in this. If your wife and kids or your husband and kids if they're not golfers, they're going to look at this as a different entertainment outlet. They're not going to look at it as going to the club. We're there for 5 hours and we got to get there. No, we'll go into the room, we'll play 18 holes, we'll whack it around and play some arcade games, and we'll be done in an hour and a half. It's like game night. It's family game night.
That's cool.
And it's a big giant screen, and the adoption has just been incredible. I've heard so many stories from people who bought this for personal use, and they're telling me, I can't tell you how much this has brought my family together. My daughter never played golf in her life. She came home from college. We play every night.
Yep.
It's exactly what you want to hear.
Anecdotally, I have to second that. I know we're out of time, but my son just turned 4. He's aware of golf, and when I asked him this past weekend, like, what do you want to do? I think it was Sunday. What do you want to do today? I want to go to your office, Dad, and I want to play golf. And he loves, on our system, there's a block smash game that you put it on the easy mode, and even if he doesn't get the ball off the ground, it jumps a ramp and hits the blocks. That is his number one. If I ask him, what do you want to do today? Dad, I want to go to your office. He has a little keyboard. He pretends to work over here. And then when we're done working, we play golf. And so he knows we come in here, he has work to do, and then we play golf. And it's his number one activity at 4 years old that he wants to do. And we've got him a little club and all that kind of stuff. And I will tell you as a father, like that is one of the most exciting things to see him start to develop a love for playing golf at that age, because I know that portends to me being able to spend more time on the golf course as he gets older, because that's what he's going to want to do, and so I'm going to get to go do that for him with him.
You're fostering a relationship with the game that he's going to have for the rest of his life. No matter where he ends up, he's going to have golf for the rest of his life.
That's right.
He can play it until he's 85 years old. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's all we're trying to do.
I probably sound like an old man yelling at the clouds when I say today's kids, all they are is on screens, and this sounds like a screen that is a productive screen. It's something that you can get a lot of enjoyment and pleasure out of. And so,
it's a good screen.
Great. Well, with that, guys, I'd like to thank you for your time today. I've learned a lot about putting a golf simulator in a home, what it takes to be involved, how to get an expert involved. So I appreciate your time and engagement with the Intelligent Estate today. We'll put your contact information up on the screen here, so if anybody wants to contact you to learn more or contact an expert in your area, we'll certainly have them get in touch with you. But guys, thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
This is awesome.
That was an awesome conversation. As an avid golfer, I can tell you how fun it is to have a golf simulator in your own home, and I appreciate JW and Jimmy sharing their thoughts with us. Coming up next week, we're going to dive deep into lighting technology in today's estate homes. Lighting is all the rage, and we'll be joined by an expert out of Miami, Florida, to tell us what is new and what trends he is paying attention to when it comes to technology and lighting. That's a wrap on this episode of The Intelligent Estate, where luxury meets smart living. We covered a lot today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform and leave a quick rating or review. It helps more design lovers, homeowners, and tech-forward thinkers find this show. And hey, if you've got questions, ideas, or just want to show off your own intelligent estate, reach out on Instagram at The Intelligent Estate Podcast. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for engaging with us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.